What is the best advice you've ever heard or received?
Believe in yourself.
What is the worst advice you've ever heard or received?
It can't be done.
You don't have enough faith in yourself. And maybe you don't have enough faith in, well, I would say the divine.
Have faith in yourself and then trust in those who earn it. Have faith in yourself. That's who you can trust, is you.
What if I told you that confidence has nothing to do with feeling ready and everything to do with doing it scared?
It will catch up to you. It will come to light in some way, shape, or form.
Your mind is literally telling you, dude, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. So you need to start on the small wins. Start focusing on the small wins. Get groomed. Clean your room. Start hanging out with good people. Read a chapter in a book and say, I'm going to read a chapter, and you sit down and you read it, right? I'm going to read this news article, and you sit down and you read it. I'm going to eat good food and not bad food. You do it, and you start building trust with yourself.
And instead of then creating a thought in your mind and allowing this thought to survive and even proliferate in your mind and start complaining and so on, you can recognize that every human does that.
Yes, there are things that you can't do, but don't say, I can't do it. Ask yourself, how can I do it? You know, there's ways around it. You can get from one side of the mountain to another, but you don't just have to walk over it. Maybe you can go underneath it or around it, or there's always ways in achieving the same goal. The way that I've achieved in my life doesn't always look the same for everyone else. But the key to that success was I believed in myself.
I used to tell people lies so they would like me because I was so insecure. When you start to build yourself up and start to have the one thing that we don't have is confidence.
Yep.
Real, authentic confidence from hard work. Everything else goes away. You no longer look to other people for your self-esteem.
Validation.
That's right.
Yeah.
You now know. I walk in a room now and I know the hours and years and decades I put into David Goggins. It's not a trophy on the wall. It's not a medal on your neck. It is actually a feeling in your heart. And people go, why don't you ever smile? I don't have to.
Whatever you want to do, believe it, believe it, believe it, even if you don't believe. Play the game of belief. Act as if you believe. That is power. That is sheer power. And it will happen. Believe you me. No fool like me that's worked in my life will work in yours. So never give up. Believe, believe, believe. I don't care if you're atheist or agnostic or anything. Believe, believe, believe.
If God put you in a situation, even if you weren't ready for it, even if you hate it with all your heart, and you feel like you don't have what it takes to get through it, remember what I came from North Carolina to tell you. If God put you in it, He put it in you.
Believe in yourself and don't rely on anybody to believe in you. Don't rely on anybody to push you or make you better. Believe in yourself and only yourself and allow that human being to make you a better person. Live your life with character, honor, and discipline. If you live that way, I guarantee you, your goals and dreams will get accomplished.
Believe. I think you should believe in everything. And of course, the rest, it's the dedication, the hard work. Listen to people who know more than you, who they have more experience than you, and believe in your talents.
You don't believe that the world is characterized by enough potentiality so that even miserable you has a crack at the brass ring. And like I talked about this actually practically in one of my previous books, because I wrote a chapter called Compare Yourself to Who You Are and Not to Someone Else at the Present Time. Well, why? Well, your best benchmark for tomorrow is you today. And you might not be able to have what someone else has on the particular axis you're comparing yourself with them on, but you could make an incremental improvement over your current state regardless of the direction that you're aiming.
What doubts do you have about yourself internally?
I've never doubted such a strange thing. I mean, it's, there'll be times where you succeed and there are times that you fail. So wasting your time doubting whether you're going to be successful or not is pointless. It is. I mean, you just put one foot in front of the other, you control what you can't control, and then you see what the outcome is, right? If you win, great, you're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey over again. If you lose, it sucks, but you're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey all over again anyway.
I want you guys to believe, don't just listen to me. Feel me in your soul. Believe you can win. Believe you can Win, because we only get one shot at this, King. We didn't come this far to come this far.
There's a very good book in the Bible, the book of Job. And Job is this man that had everything, very successful at his time. Satan approaches God and says, I see your servant Job, and the reason he serves you is because you've given him everything. God says, well, okay, we'll take everything away except his life. You have my permission. So he strips him of his family, strips him of all his possessions, strips him of his health. And throughout that entire book, all of his friends, his wife comes and they're like, you should be cursing God. He said, I can't curse God. Stay faithful to him. In one encounter, he's praying to God and he questions, why is this happening to me? And God answers, who are you to question me? Am I not the creator of everything? The lesson and the moral of the life of Job is that God will test you with suffering. God will test you with challenges. God will test you with difficulties. God will test you with hard times. But that is when the proof of your faith is manifested, not when everything is given to you, not when it's easy.
Somewhere deep inside, you know what kind of person you were designed to be. If you want to produce great acorns, think like an oak, not like an acorn. Think like the person you intend to become. Like the Christian question, what would Jesus do? Ask yourself, how would the person I'd like to be do the things I'm about to do? The acorn has three parts. It's got a stem, a cap, and a seed.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself if you want to get somewhere, because it's no one else's job to believe in you. It is your job and your duty. But the thing is, when you start to believe in yourself and you start to put in the work behind those beliefs, people will take notice and people will follow. Just like when you see someone laying around and not doing nothing and complaining and you don't ever feel eager to do anything for them, but then you see a person out trying to get it and working, you feel eager to help those people. It's the same way with belief, my friend. If you believe in yourself, people will do it too. People go outside and play instruments and stuff on the side of the street and they put their first dollar in.
Big mistake a lot of people don't realize, which is if you do really well and you don't believe in yourself, you don't become secure. A lot of people think that becoming secure is about being successful. That's not the case. If you're really successful, you don't end up with security. You end up with imposter syndrome.
And the stem represents its connection to the past. All the acorns, all the oaks that have ever existed in its line before are encoded in that transfer through that stem, the legacy into this acorn. The cap holds onto the seed until the seed's ready to grow on its own. So the cap represents your coaches, your mentors, your role models, your guides, your parents, your friends, your teachers. And when you're ready to grow on your own, the seed of that acorn holds not only your potential, but the potential of every future generation.
Because money attracts money. Belief attracts belief. Positivity attracts positivity. You put your first dollar in and then people are like, oh snap, somebody else put a dollar in, let me put one in. Same thing. Invest in yourself and people will invest in you. It is no one else's job to do so. I used to didn't believe in myself, but just to show you how fast things can change, I started believing in myself. And at the beginning of this year, I bought my dream car, or at least one of them. I bought one of my dream cars. I moved out of my parents' house into this place. I booked my first gig playing guitar and sold it out. Just because I posted a few clips on social media. I sold it out. 500 people. 500 people for the first time. I sold it out. All because I believed in myself.
So I went to Tufts for medical school and I did my residency training at Harvard. And what I saw is that the more successful you become, that increases the rate of imposter syndrome. There's way more imposter syndrome at Harvard than there is at the University of Texas. There's way more imposter syndrome at a place like Goldman Sachs than there is at Bank of America. So lots of success actually creates this idea that everyone else is so much better than me. So we see actually lots of success leads to imposter syndrome. Confidence doesn't come from success, it comes from surviving failure. It's also far more internal. So it's not something that anyone else gives you. It's like when you believe in yourself, then you're confident. And then the beautiful thing is that once you believe in yourself, then other people can think whatever they want to about you.
What's your thoughts on faith and how does a man build his faith?
You don't have to build it, you have to understand you were born with it. I'm not talking about your religion, I'm talking about your faith.
We both share, we're both Christians, I know, but I don't tell people what to believe. What I think is important is that they find what is so for them inside. They find their connection with God. It's like trying to touch God. You know the story of the blind people touching God, and one touches the tail, and they all have a different perception of what God is. They're only getting a little piece of it. God's so much more than that, right? But faith you were born with, and I'll prove it to you. Think of all the people that are watching or listening right now, our friends out there, who get up every day and get in a car and drive it. How the hell do you get up, drive a car 65 miles an hour down the street? Happens every single day of your life. How the hell do you do that? There's only one way, faith. Without faith, you couldn't make that drive.
And you want to know what's crazy about it? When you believe in yourself, people will believe in you. And you want to know what's really crazy about it? None of that is true. Not yet.
Real life examples I've ever witnessed of the power of belief in God. I have a good friend who for many years struggled with alcohol and drug addiction. Incredibly kind person, married, 2 beautiful children, multiple relapses. And then ultimately, and his wife said, this is it. You've got to solve this or we just can't do it. He told us that he was going to go to a center here in Los Angeles that treats addiction with essentially religion, a belief in God. He's been sober more than 4 years now. He got out of there and never looked back.
The concept of believing in yourself, and it's a subject that I've talked about a lot, and it's something that I reinforce. But those are just words. Believe in yourself. Those are words. It's not an instruction manual on how to be better in your life, and not that I'm qualified to tell you guys how to do that, but I am qualified to tell you guys how I've lived my life and how that's worked for me.
That's who you can go with just based on faith. Everybody else, they need to earn it. Now, I was raised up in a Baptist church, the Bible Belt, and we were taught you give people the benefit of the doubt. That's insane. Certainly in this day and time with a transient society where we don't really know people. When I grew up, we weren't a very transient society. You knew everybody in the neighborhood. If anybody that wasn't supposed to be there, they stuck out like a sore thumb because we weren't very transient. We went to school 2 blocks away. Nobody moved. Everybody was there. So if some stranger, like stranger danger, showed up, you knew this guy didn't belong here. Even then, it didn't make sense. Give people benefit of the doubt. Why would you do that?
You need to love yourself. You need to build your self-esteem. And I think the first step to loving yourself and building your self-esteem is to ask yourself, why don't you love yourself? Or accept the fact that you're not happy with yourself. Accept that you have low self-esteem. And then you should ask why. Typically it's something, from the past, some type of trauma, or something you've been through, something somebody else said.
But if you can find something that you can keep going, something that no matter how small to look forward to and continually have faith in and chase, well, then your life here is going to be better now.
How bad I wanted to change myself, to fit in with other people, to become more likable. And all of that really came from somebody else's absence. But I would like to think that I've gotten to a point where I've grown from that. And that's really all thanks to a few changes in my mentality that I've had.
What happened outside of you? What did somebody do? What did somebody say? And you recognize that you feel the way you do because of the experience you had outside of yourself. Because someone taught you to hate yourself. Let's put it bluntly. Somebody taught you to hate yourself. Somebody taught you to dislike something about yourself. Some experience taught you to be insecure about something.
One of the things that religious people have done relatively badly, especially in recent years, is they've failed to delineate the relationship between faith and courage. People like Dawkins and the New Atheists, they point to faith and they describe it as something like belief in foolish superstitions. But that isn't really what faith in the deepest sense means. It means that you are willing to act out the proposition that you can ride the wave no matter how big it becomes.
What kind of seed is in you? See, I believe part of our responsibility in life is to find out who we are, to discover ourselves. First off, we need to respect our nature. we need to realize we are part of a continuing chain that carries a legacy and a responsibility.
What if believing in yourself is all that you have left right now? When I hit rock bottom, that's when I started believing in myself the most, because I had nothing left to lose. When you have nothing left to lose, then what's the harm in believing in yourself fully?
And you're thinking, well, Dr. Phil, that's awful harsh. No, it's not. You shouldn't judge them as bad either. I'm not saying they're guilty till proven innocent. I'm saying what you should do is gather information, gather data until you have enough to make an informed decision. You don't give somebody the benefit of the doubt. You don't let them in your life. You don't loan them money. You don't do all of these things because it's a nice thing to do. Are you kidding me? You need to gather enough data until you can make an informed decision. See them in enough different situations and circumstances. Try a little something and see how it works. And if they show themselves to be trustworthy at that level, then go to the next level.
I honestly have a really hard time with anxious attachment. When someone that I care about or somebody that I just want to talk to is absent from my life for a period of time or maybe just a moment, it bothers me a lot. But I would genuinely say that I've gotten a lot better with that. And it's not because I'm some special person or because I was born with this weird sense of independence. No, it's really just because I've changed my perspective on a lot of things and I've changed my mentality on it in general.
And one of the most important things is something that I constantly need to remind myself of is that I don't have anything to prove to anyone. And that may seem like a bold claim because I do have a lot of expectations to meet, both with you guys and myself. But one of the things that always keeps me grounded is realizing that I don't owe anybody anything.
So how do you create self-belief, and how do you believe in yourself when no one else does or you haven't done anything? It's easy to believe that someone who is already successful can be more successful because they've already done something, and we typically have confidence in competence. And when you think about people that are going to make it or people that are going to be successful, and when you look at someone and think, God, of course they're successful, like an entrepreneur or a sports person, you think, of course they're going to be successful. Look at how good they are, look at how much they've done. It's a really important thing to be able to do, because anyone who wants to become successful, any entrepreneur, any sports person, anyone who wants to build something and actually create a career and be the best in the world at something, they started off as nothing. And they started off with this discrepancy between the confidence they had in themselves and their abilities and the actual way their competence would manifest through their experience.
You gotta believe. You have to believe. And I know y'all that went on these paths in life where you want to do better, you want to try things, you might want to start a YouTube, you might want to start hitting the gym, but it's always that self-doubt there. Why is that? Because your mind is trying to trick you from not achieving what you want, because your mind wants to stay comfortable. It's not comfortable to believe in yourself. It's not comfortable to get on this grind, but you gotta do it.
We believe day in, day out negative things about ourselves. We always have limiting beliefs about how we are not good enough. But what if we change the narrative and start telling ourselves how we are? Start telling ourselves how we can make it and how we will make it no matter whatever anyone has ever told you. What if you tell yourself day in, day out, you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it?
That's a great question. You know, I sit here with a life where I have the luxury to project, to ask myself and ask others, no, make a sacrifice today. Sacrifice a plastic ring today for a gold crown tomorrow. Sacrifice something today for more freedom tomorrow. Sacrifice something today for a possible healthier future for your kids. I understand that's a luxurious position. I'm not gonna apologize that I'm in it, but I understand to someone in misery, they're going, good for you, man.
You have to be real with yourself, and you have to dig down and find it. So to help y'all out, to be more relatable and to be more, descriptive, I guess we could say, I'm gonna demonstrate. So you can do an exercise, you can talk to your younger self and reform this bond with your younger self so that you can learn yourself, accept yourself, and eventually fall in love with yourself. So if I was talking to my younger self, I would say, it's okay that no one really understands you. It's okay that people often look over you. That's fine. Because one day they are going to see you be great. And I'm telling you that because I know and I believe in you and I love you.
Simply existing doesn't mean that you have a debt. that you need to pay to the universe to exist. You exist whether or not you think and let yourself be stressed out by those ideas. And this is a very grandiose topic, but trust me, I'm going to bring it down into something cohesive that can be understood. But this whole concept of not owing anyone anything may seem sensible at its face, but sometimes it's very hard to get through in your day-to-day life, because especially in the age of the internet, you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, and you're constantly comparing yourself to other people in your field of study that may be better than you are at what you're doing. They may be better artists, better musicians, better YouTubers. It doesn't matter what subject it is. You'll often find yourself comparing yourself to others.
I didn't grow up in a childhood where my parents told me, oh my God, you should believe in yourself, you should be confident. No, I was told the opposite. I looked at my parents and everyone around me and I thought, I don't want to live like you guys. I don't want to have a future like you guys. So what did I have to do? I have to do things differently.
And so what you need to learn to do is develop a deep intuitive self-belief. And you need to have a deep level of confidence in yourself and in your ability to work and get the job done. And actually, you need to think you can actually do it. The problem is if you don't believe in yourself, and if you don't have confidence in yourself, and I hate the word self-belief because we're going to talk about how to do this, and there's a whole thing to it that you need to understand. It's not what you think. The problem with self-belief and confidence is you haven't done anything.
Most people wrestle with self-doubt their entire lives and think it's something you just have to live with. But what if I told you it's not a character flaw, but a mental habit?
I'm trying to feed the family tonight. I'm not thinking past that. I can't think past that. What do you ask them to do? My indirect thing I would say and understand is, well, if you don't have the hope or believe in something, you're definitely got to remain where you are. And if you have hope and faith in something, I'm not saying it's 100% get out of jail. You're going to absolutely get out, but you got the best chance to.
And to the dude who said, call God for a miracle, like I said, my brother, I am the miracle. And I want you to see this, and I want to show you the power of believing in yourself. But not only do you have to believe in yourself, but you have to put in the work. I'm going to continue to pump out these videos. I'm going to continue to do what I love, but I believe in myself. But you fail for the conviction, the belief in me. Because those things happen. Life is just late. I've achieved everything I wanted in life. Life is just late. But I believe in myself.
I had no choice but to believe in myself. I had no choice but to be delusional and think that somehow everything that I've ever went through was not in vain. Everything that you're going through right now is not in vain. Anything that you're going through is growing you.
A lot of people ask me, Layla, how do I build confidence? And I get it because it's just like, everyone's like, oh, believe in yourself. You just need to believe in yourself. And they think that you need to write these affirmations on the bathroom mirror every morning. And listen, that's what I did when I was in my early 20s. I literally did this. I had it written on my mirror. It was like, I am beautiful. I am strong. I am capable. I am confident. And guess what? Nothing changed. It didn't do anything. Having those things written on my mirror didn't do jack for how I felt the rest of my day. And the reason for that is because confidence comes from action.
And you'll sometimes feel like you owe it to yourself to be that good. And that is a horrible way of thinking, because that may motivate you in the short term and you'll be able to get a lot of you energy is what I call it. But in all honesty, that isn't what really is going to make you go the farthest. Because when you are constantly trying to meet the expectations of someone else, you're letting yourself down.
It's the mindset shift that's helped people go from paralysis to power. One powerful shift, simple yet effective, that rewires how you see yourself and silences the inner critic who's been running your inner world so that you may listen to the guide within. And we will get there through story, science, and a powerful visual metaphor. Let's first rewind to 1954, where Roger Bannister does something the world believed was physically impossible. He runs a mile in under 4 minutes. For years, experts had said the human body simply couldn't handle it.
You have to have some form of delusion about what's going to happen in the future. Your
trying your best to see the way that it's going to be. But given that the glass could be half empty or half full, why not have a delusion that's going to be useful to you? One of hope, even in the face and the understanding that things might be difficult and that there's going to be obstacles.
You know, there was a line of social psychology that pursued that argument for quite a while, that made the argument that people had to have positive illusions about the future, and that was the fundamental way that people staved off despair and bolstered their self-esteem. But I don't think we need to separate out the distinction between fantasy and delusion. You do have a fantasy about the future. You have to, because like you said, it's not structured. So you have to provisionally map the future. That's what a plan is. That's what a strategy is.
And that's why I say so often, your mood, follow the plan. Because if you keep the promises that you make to yourself, especially when you don't feel like doing it, that's the input that leads to the output of confidence. And that's what most people miss. They're so busy chasing the result. It's like, if you think about it, if somebody's like, I really just want to be skinny, right? And so that all they do is just like thinking about being skinny, wishing they could be skinny. But you're like, just get in the gym, do the workout, eat the food. You can't just wish for it, you have to work for it.
And if that's the case, then we need to recognize that we were not biological coincidences. We were I believe there's a creator, and I believe you were intentionally created for a myriad of purposes. There are many things we can do with our lives, and I think it's our job to find out what those things are and to do them as well as we possibly can, so that we're passing along the right imprint for the next generation.
And because I'm able to speak like that, and I truly believe it, you believed it too. Maybe you didn't, maybe I didn't fool you, but I guarantee I did most, right? But I'll achieve all those things. All those things are, you know what I mean? That's nothing. Some dude said, you better call God for a miracle or something. And I said, come back and see. But I am the miracle. Why? Because I believe in myself, because I put in the work. And when you put in the work, the results will come. May they come slow sometimes, may they come fast, you know, it's up and down, it fluctuates, it doesn't matter. You gotta believe. You have to believe.
So if you're in this position, I'm telling you, one day you will look back at this time and you'll think, I'm so grateful that this happened, because now I have the knowledge that I needed back then. Now I'm a bigger person than I was back then. But you have to make that decision to take all of that knowledge and use it for something better.
And you have no reason to be confident in yourself, and you have no reason to believe in yourself. Because who you are right now, and the worldview that you have, and the identity that you have, is manifesting your current reality. And so the only thing you can really trust your current sense of self, or current identity, or current belief systems to do is to generate the current reality that you experience.
Too much strain. The lungs would collapse. The heart would fail. But here's what's truly mind-blowing. Just 46 days later, another runner broke the same record, and then dozens more followed. What changed? Not their bodies, but their beliefs. This is the invisible prison of self-doubt. It doesn't live in your abilities. It lives in your assumptions about your abilities. You see, self-doubt isn't a sign that you're not ready. It's a sign that you haven't updated your inner operating system.
And one of the things that's been hard for me to understand in my life is this concept that I don't need to focus on anyone else. I don't need to compare myself to anyone except myself. That's why I look back on my life so much, because I'm not comparing myself to other YouTubers. I'm not comparing myself to other artists or voiceover artists or actors if I want to do that thing. I'm not comparing to other people. I'm comparing to my past self. And this may be yesterday, it may be years ago, it may be like my childhood self. Those are the only people in my life that I need to compare myself to. And hopefully, as I go through my life, I'm constantly getting better. I can look back at my past self, and I can be proud of what I've accomplished in the past for when it was.
We have made a lot of money. We have changed our lives. We have broke away from these bad relationships with people. We have got away from jobs that don't deserve us. We have got away from situations we thought we wouldn't get out of. We have beat addictions we thought we couldn't beat. And why is that, Shimon Davis? Because we believed in ourselves.
You're drawing conclusions from old data. What didn't work when you were tired, stressed, underprepared, or just younger? But now, you're stronger, smarter, more resilient. And if you keep running today's race with yesterday's mindset, you'll always feel stuck. Let's pause for a second and zoom out. The odds of you being born are 1 in over 400 trillion. You are not here by accident, and self-doubt dishonors the miracle that you are. You've already won the greatest lottery that there is going, the lottery of life.
So I'll give you an example. At the age of 21, I moved across the country. I had no job, I had no money, and I had no clue what the hell I was doing. I certainly had no confidence in myself, and I wasn't confident in my ability to pull it off. And so what I did is I said, okay, I'm at least gonna put together a plan. So what I did is I moved to California. I got an apartment, and then I looked for every place that I could work, which was a gym, because I had my degree in exercise science, within walking distance.
So you know where you've come from, and you know where you're going, because hopefully you've got a goal in mind. And I've actually talked about this in a video called Believe in Yourself, where I believe I was riding a bike and talking about this. But I meant it then, and I mean it now. You have a goal in mind, and this is a goal that just drives you forward. It's what you burn for in the middle of the night. It's what you lose sleep for. It is everything that consumes your life. This goal is what you want more than anything in the world, and it's right there waiting for you to take it, and it's literally right there.
Because the way that the world works is the way the world manifests to you, and the way that we experience reality is a reflection of what we believe about it. And so basically, your identity, your worldview, your paradigm is like a projection. And what you think of the world and what you expect of the world and what you tolerate from the world is what the world will give you. And so a lot of people, they tolerate being unhealthy, they tolerate being poor, they tolerate being neglected, they tolerate being rejected, they tolerate suffering, they tolerate depression, they tolerate anxiety. And through the belief system of identity creation, so basically what happens is you form beliefs and you form your identity around things that have happened to you, and you get trapped.
Do you know your wife 100%? No. And I don't know my wife 100%. Does that mean you and I can't have a relationship with our wives because we don't understand them 100%? No. We have a wonderful relationship with our wives. In other words, you've got to live with mystery, and I've got to live with mystery. And if I can't learn to live with mystery, I'm going to have a horrible relationship with my wife, and you will have a horrible relationship with your wife. To demand that our wives tell me everything there is to know about them, I could never do that, and I couldn't grasp it. Well, if that's true about our relationship with our wives and our children, how much more true that is about a relationship with God. Where on earth do I get off with this intellectual arrogance that says, unless God answers every question I've got, unless I can understand everything about God, I can't believe? If you get a PhD in biology, do you know everything there is to know about biology? No. If you do postdoc work in biology, do you know everything there is to know about biology? No.
Right, but that doesn't make it a delusion. Like, it becomes a delusion when the map bears no relationship to the underlying territory. So if you have a strategy for the future, maybe let's say that your strategy for the future, just for the sake of argument, is that you have 5 million YouTube subscribers in 3 years. Well, you have no evidence of the strict sort that that's how it's going to be, because anything could happen between now and 3 years from now, let's say. There's no reason to call that a delusion.
The question for you is this: what are you going to do with that winning ticket of yours? Some people win, not because they're better than you, but because they dare to believe harder in the future version of themselves and their ability to overcome the inevitable challenges and setbacks we all face when journeying into the unknown. That's not arrogance, that's self-leadership, courage, and trust.
And the things you say, they actually do matter. And don't worry about being short. You'll get taller, and if you don't, it's okay. Because taller people, they ultimately die soon. Their heart has to work so much harder to pump that blood. And there's nothing wrong with your nose. And there's nothing wrong with your eyes. You're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? You my G, and you're going to be all right. Anything you want to do in life, you can do. Don't worry about people who told you it's too small. Don't worry about people who don't believe in the things you want to do. Don't worry about people calling you weird. Because who wants to be the same? Honestly, I strive to be weird.
Know the background imprint, positive, neutral, or negative, that you carry with you and what effect it's had on you. Know your behavioral style, how you come across to other people. Know the patterns in your choices so that you're continually learning more and more about what it's like to be you, so you can do an even better job of it. And then we need to apply our nature. We need to nurture our nature by expressing ourselves in the world. See, I never expected to be anything but ordinary. I was raised to be nice and ordinary. I expected I would grow up to be like Dad worked for the phone company. I figured I'd go to work for the phone company, maybe work in an office. I figured I'd live, I'd work till 65. I'd have 1.34 kids. I'd retire at 65, and then I'd die at the statistical average age for my gene pool.
One of my favorite ideas I learned over the last couple of years is the inner citadel from Isaiah Berlin. Do you know this? So Isaiah Berlin says, when the natural road toward human fulfillment is blocked, human beings retreat into themselves, become involved in themselves, and try to create inwardly that world which some evil fate has denied them externally.
That's a delusion often.
If you cannot obtain from the world that which you really desire, you must teach yourself not to want it. If you cannot get what you want, you must teach yourself to want what you can get.
A bird sitting on the tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because its trust is not on the branch but on its own wings. This is why it's so important to believe in yourself. And in case no one has told you this recently, you are far stronger and more capable than you think you are. Psychologists call this self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to succeed. And one of the fastest ways to develop this is through evidence stacking. Here's how it works. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you tell your brain, I'm the kind of person who follows through. I'm someone who gets things done.
And so I ended up getting a job at 24 Hour Fitness. And when I got the job, what I realized within the first 2 days was that the job wasn't about fitness. It wasn't about everything I'd learned. It was actually about marketing and sales. And I was terrified because I was like, I have no idea how to do marketing and sales. And I felt like this complete imposter syndrome. I just felt like an out of my body experience because I was like, how am I supposed to do this? But at the same time, what I'm seeing is my bank account. Every single day I had $5,000 and just down, down, down. My rent was $1,400 a month. Food, gas, everything else, insurance, paying off my student loan debt, all those things, every single month, I was like, I've got 3 months. And so I was like, I have to learn how to do this. And the thing is that I knew, I was like, I don't want to be the person who walks out.
You're okay, buddy. Okay? I love you. You'll be all right. Okay? Now, I think with that concept, y'all can see where I'm going with this. I used to get picked on for being short. I used to get picked on for my nose. I used to get picked on for my hair, my eyes, the whole deal, right? I used to get overlooked often. When I would say things, it was like people didn't listen or they didn't really take note into what I was saying. You could go down the list of all these things that made me feel insecure, things that made me feel left out, but it wasn't from inside of me. It was an outside experience. Something else happened outside of me, and it influenced the way I see myself within me.
This is a very frequent form of spiritual retreat in depth into a kind of inner citadel in which you lock yourself up against all of the fearful ills of the world. Mutual friend Rob Henderson explained it in a simpler way. If your leg is wounded, you can try to treat the leg, and if you can't, then you cut the leg off and denounce that the desire for legs is misguided and must be subdued. And I think that we see this everywhere.
That voice that told me I couldn't, it lied. And this is how you build your new identity. One decision and one moment of courage at a time. A coaching client of mine used to second guess everything. New ideas, she'll overthink them. New opportunities, she'll say, who am I to do that? So we created a courage journal. One moment of brave action per day. That's it. 30 days in, she looked back and told me something I'll never forget. I kept waiting for confidence to show up before I acted. But now I know confidence isn't the starting line, it's the finish line.
So you have to dig back into yourself and reform that bond. Like, look, bro, we good. Like, I love myself. I'm tripping. I'm seeing myself through the eyes of a distorted lens or a distorted person or someone's distorted and ignorant viewpoint. And that's not healthy for you. That's not fair to you either. You're not being fair to yourself. So you have to fall back in love with yourself. You have to be curious about yourself. You have to get to know yourself.
I don't want to be the person who quits because I knew that was just going to make me feel worse about myself. And so I put in the reps. I said, I'm going to read 5 books on sales. I'm going to be there at 4 a.m. I'm going to leave at 9 p.m. I'm going to drill. I'm going to take every opportunity to meet with somebody who's better than me. I'm going to take all the opportunity possible to learn the skill. I was so nervous the first time I went to make my first sale that I went into the bathroom because I thought I was going to throw up. I went into the bathroom. I didn't leave. I didn't quit. And what happened was that I was absolutely fucking terrified for the first 30 days.
We believed in ourselves and we took action in our life. And we wanted to change our life. So we changed our habits and we became the best version of ourselves. And when you become the best version of yourself, how are you supposed to lose?
Until one day in 1972, on the radio in the next room to mine, I heard a voice that changed everything. I was working for the Little Rock Housing Authority, Little Rock, Arkansas, Urban Renewal Agency. I was a government clerk making $525 a month. I weighed 200 pounds. This is 148. I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I had never set a goal in my life. I didn't have a college degree and no money in the bank. I was newly married with a new baby at home, and I didn't expect much from life.
So imagine that you lay out a plan and it meets with an impediment and it knocks the slats out from underneath the plan. Okay, now you retreat. Okay, now you have an option when you're retreating, and one option is to construct a world in fantasy where you're taking revenge on those who wronged you and getting what you want. That's a pathway to madness. So often people who develop serious delusions do develop, what would you call them? They're compensatory fantasies, and then they start to dwell in them, and often for hundreds of hours. So the kids, again, who showed up to Columbine High School, they dwelt in a fantasy world for hundreds of hours before they undertook their dreadful actions, right? But you can also flip back into yourself, let's say, and you can, this is like confession and atonement. It's the proper way to think about it, is you can think about what it is that you did wrong or insufficiently.
I remember the moment where I made my first sale, and my manager, my team, everybody came and they all crowded around me and they were like, you did it. And what was crazy was that none of the celebration mattered. It wasn't the fact that everyone was congratulating me. It wasn't the fact that I made the money. It was the fact of how I felt about myself.
I mean, I can't lose at this point. And for the people who think I'm not being humble, of course we lose. And it's only a lose or a loss if you see it that way. They're lessons to me.
And in the next room, I heard the voice of Earl Nightingale, known at the time as the Dean of Personal Motivation. He was on 900 radio stations around the world, and what he said that day will forever resonate with me. He said, if you will spend 1 extra hour each day studying your chosen field, you'll be a national expert in that field in 5 years or less.
Science tells us that by age 7, most of us have already formed core beliefs about whether we're lovable, capable, or enough. We carry those beliefs with us as we grow into adults, beliefs that were written by moments we barely remember. One sentence from someone you looked up to, you're not good enough, or you'll never be successful, and suddenly you spend decades unconsciously proving them right. It's not your fault, it's your wiring. And the good news is that wiring can be rewritten. Self-doubt doesn't speak just one language though. It shows up in 4 ways. The first is overthinking instead of acting. The second is hiding from visibility, vulnerability, or opportunity. The third is arguing against yourself using old data. The fourth is feeling helpless, like change isn't possible. Recognizing the form it takes in your life is the first step to dissolving its power.
I made some sacrifices. I attempted to bring about a particular form of the future. It didn't happen. Okay, why? Well, the world is set against me and the cosmos is evil and there's no God and I'm bitter and cynical. That's one potential explanation, right? Poor me, right? And I'm not trying to be flippant about this because sometimes people's dreams are quite realistic and they still fail catastrophically. You know, it can be brutal. You know, maybe you did make a lot of good decisions and you suddenly got ill or someone in your family did and everything went to hell on you. It doesn't have to be because you've done something cardinally foolish that you fail. You know, it's built into the structure of the world. It doesn't matter. You can also retreat into yourself and you can say something like, all right, I need to retool my conception of strategy, but also potentially my conception of goal.
It was like this vision that I had of my future self just got pulled into reality, and every belief I had about myself was broken right then. I didn't believe that I could make money. I wasn't confident in my ability to sell or to market until the sale happened. And all of a sudden, it was like more of what's possible came to mind for me. Like I started to think about other things I could do. I started to think about other skills I could acquire. I started to think about other things beyond the box that I had built of the vision of myself. That's absurd to think that if I was just reading affirmations in the mirror, that I suddenly would have been good at sales. Like I put in the reps to get good at sales. And here's the thing, success does not discriminate. Confidence does not discriminate. It doesn't care where you've come from. It doesn't care about your background. It doesn't care about your experience. All it cares about is the fact that you put in the work to get it.
It is what you want more than anything in the world, and that's what happened to me once I found YouTube. I wanted to be a YouTuber so badly, and I knew there were dozens, hundreds of other people trying to make YouTube happen, and if I had compared myself to them and held myself to their standard from the get-go, I would never have been anywhere. I would have been wallowing in self-doubt and self-pity at how, I don't have as many subscribers as them. I'll never get there. I set out only to do the best that I could. I could not live if I held myself to their standards and waited for their approval.
Just because you relapse, just because you went back into those habits, that doesn't make you a failure. That doesn't mean your self-improvement journey has to end. That doesn't mean your no-fap journey has to end. None of that is true. It's an opportunity for you to learn. When you relapse, whether it be drugs, whether it be explicit content, whatever the case may be, whether you run back to your ex after, you've been shown multiple times what happened. Whenever you go back, think about it. What am I doing? Is this good for me? Should I really be here right now? Would I be better off without doing this or being here?
So if you see people, right, you see people when you're younger, and you're like, how is that person so confident, right? Like given all their circumstances, maybe what they look like, maybe their job, their career, they've done work you haven't done. And that's the thing. You have to work for it. You have to put it into existence. And you have to make it happen. Here's the thing. Your brain gathers evidence. And evidence is what builds the identity and confidence over time. So someone says to me, Layla, I want to go and speak at this event, but I'm not confident to speak at that event. I said, it would be absurd to think that you would be confident when you've never fucking spoken on stage before. Of course that's not going to happen. Our brains like to predict what's likely to happen. If you've never done something before, your brain says, I don't know what could happen, so I'm gonna make you scared. And if you're scared, you're gonna avoid it, which means that you won't die, right? Because our brains are wired for survival, not success.
That hit me like a tornado. It rearranged everything in my life. I started doing the math. An hour extra a day, so let's say 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 1,250 hours over 5 years. If I spent, just ordinary me, 1,250 hours studying one subject, I could actually be a national expert.
I had to approve myself, and I had to hold myself to my own standards. And my standards are really high. My standards may not seem high when I'm being asinine and childish in front of the camera, but my standards for what I do in my life are high. Because I've been increasing them every year that I've been alive.
And even if you want to believe differently now, it's important to understand how your beliefs can be influenced by the environment you spend time in and around. Because environment beats willpower every time.
Just like when you have a friend that shows up for you, and we even go back further. You had a friend, right, or a person that you wanted to be friends with. You become friends with them. You start getting to know them, and then they start showing up for you. They keep their word. They bring you snacks. They do all these things. They take care of you, right? And you become very close with them. You form a deep connection with them. Did you always know them? Absolutely not. Now it gets to the point where you can read their thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can sit in a room and talk without even talking. Well, my friend, you have to do that with yourself.
Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. Maybe I have to look somewhere else. And you can open yourself up to a revelation. So there's a gospel statement that's very relevant to this. So Christ tells his followers that if they knock, the door will open. If they ask, they'll receive. And if they seek, they'll find. And so it sounds magical. It sounds like the sort of thing that the new atheists would have a field day with. But that's not a wise interpretation of that saying. The proper interpretation is something more like a recognition of the way thought works. So imagine your plans didn't work out. Okay, now you sit down and you say to yourself, I'd like to know, even if the world was conspiring against me and my failure was 95% the fault of external occurrences and other people, what did I do that wasn't as good as it could have been, and where did I fail to look so that the probability of my failure was higher?
And then it occurred to me a few weeks later, I want to do what the guy on the radio's doing, but I had no idea what that was. I just knew it felt right to get into the field of human development. I thought, well, let's see, an hour a day. I'm a government clerk. I've got 8 hours a day. I could do this by Thursday. And then I started thinking about what he had said, and I took him seriously. An hour a day. I focused, I thought I was kind of behind the game, so I needed 2 hours and 3 and 4 and 5. So I overcompensated, and I became fanatical about the field of human development. And in that 5-year period, I went from being a government clerk with very little aspiration to being a full-time speaker and trainer.
And so it is crazy to think that you would actually have confidence when you haven't done the thing yet. You will become confident once you've done the thing because your brain does it, it sees you didn't die, and it says, it's okay, you can do it again. Now here's the thing, I wasn't forever confident now, because just like a muscle that you work out gets weak if you don't put it under pressure, so does confidence. Confidence is like a muscle. So if you don't work out that muscle, it's just gonna get weaker and weaker over time.
And you really need to get down. Get the nitty gritty and see what's keeping you there. And if you can't come up with a valid reason, a reason that you would want to verbally speak out, right? Or really stand behind. I mean, speak out and stand behind, then it's not a good reason. Because I know many times, we're going to talk about explicit content addiction, right? People go watch that stuff to fabricate intimacy.
Start exercising your ability to surrender. Surrender to the moment, surrender to the idea that, surrender to faith, really. That's been a big challenge of mine, faith in general. I've had to do that at my shows, because doing the show sober, right before I go on stage, the last thing I have to do, the obligation that I have, is to commit to surrendering.
So if you want to build unshakable confidence, then you need a habit that tracks the truth, not your mood. Now, what do I mean by that? When I was 100 pounds overweight and I wanted to lose that 100 pounds, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna freaking start doing what fit people do. I'm gonna eat the way they do. I'm gonna work out the way they do. I'm gonna try and even dress the way they do. And I'm gonna hope and pray it actually works, right? Because I'm sick of being fat. But the most important thing I started doing is I started tracking every single day what I ate when I worked out. It's not that within the day, I lost 50 pounds between Monday and Tuesday, right? But I did notice that even if I felt like I overate, or even if I felt like I was slacking, or even if I felt like my workout wasn't perfect because I was on a trip, I still consistently tracked and I still saw progress over time. Now, maybe it wasn't between Monday and Tuesday, but I could see it between Monday and Monday.
Would you like to stand on a podium in front of the world and say, hey guys, I opened my phone up at 3 o'clock at night to help me go to sleep. And the reason why I do that is because I want to fabricate sleeping with someone. I want to fabricate having intimacy with someone. And that is a good reason to keep watching. It's not a good reason. It's not a good reason. And you have to believe in being better for yourself. Believe in having better answers for yourself. And I'm sure you guys are intelligent enough to take that analogy and put it over any walk of life.
It's gonna be out of my control once I'm up there. I don't know if this is a good crowd, bad crowd. If the mic's gonna go out, my ears are gonna go out. But I gotta surrender, because when I start feeling like what's about to be out there, now I'm in my head. I gotta get in my body, but to get in my body, my thoughts and my brain has to surrender to the concept of faith. But faith is difficult for me because I don't trust anyone more than I trust myself.
In 2 years, that was 1972. In 1974, I started buying Earl Nightingale's training materials and selling them to businesses. By 1984, his company was selling my training materials worldwide. They sold $3.5 million worth of one of my first audio albums in the first 2 years it was out. I was blown away. His formula works, and I've seen it work for hundreds and even thousands of people in the many, many years since that time that I've been sharing that message.
And that's when I realized confidence comes from data, not dopamine. And over time, what happens is that evidence that you're feeding your brain helps override the emotional narratives that you tell yourself. Your brain will follow the evidence. And so tracking things and tracking our progress, the reason why it keeps people on track is because your brain looks at it and it objectively says, oh wow, this is evidence, this is data, this is important, and I'm going to believe it. Before that, all that's happening is that you feel like, even when you're making progress.
Now, to ask that question, you have to want the answer. That's what it means to knock or to ask or to seek. This is no joke. It's like you have to want to know. And it's a very painful thing to do because especially if you had given it your all and you have reason to be bitter, you're going to be searching for the errors that you still made. And discovering your own errors is always extremely painful, right? Especially if they're errors that you're in love with. And so you have to be willing to strip yourself down. That's what humility means fundamentally.
And I read a quote a little while ago that said, love yourself so much that nobody's absence bothers you. And I won't lie, that honestly hit me really hard, especially because on this channel I try to preach a lot of self-love and self-respect. And I feel like for a little while I just haven't been taking my own advice. And before reading that quote, I would always try to practice self-love and self-respect. But for some reason, when somebody was absent from my life, it always impacted me way too much. And it really wasn't until I read this quote out loud and I reflected on it that I realized I need to love myself so much that if somebody chooses to leave or chooses to be absent from my life for whatever reason, I'll be fine. No matter the situation, I'll be fine and comfortable in myself regardless. And going back to what I said at the beginning of this video, this is coming from somebody that would stress out when he didn't get a text back, or stress out when it seemed like somebody didn't like him, or just panic when somebody was absent from my life for any period of time.
You know? And that's real tough because I micromanage everything because I would rather be the reason why something fucked up than you, because at least, you know what, I took the last shot. You know, but it's not collaborative. You know, it doesn't curate or foster any trust with coworkers, you know, because it just makes them feel incompetent. So you don't trust that I can do my job. No, I do. I think I just do it better. You know, but like that used to be the mentality.
Have you ever felt that way before? Have you ever felt like you're making progress, but you still feel like good about yourself? Lots of people actually feel that way. And the reason why they feel like is because they don't track their progress. Because progress doesn't go like this. So you remember the days that you feel low, but you don't remember the days that you feel high. But if you look at the progress and you track, you see all the days that were high. And then you're like, oh, you know what? I actually had 5 good days this week and only 2 bad ones. But it's just that our brains love to take the negative and make it bigger than it is. And so we have to fight that natural tendency by tracking our wins.
It's one hypothetically possible path of potential. And then you can make the sacrifices necessary to bring that about. So even though it's a fantasy, because it maps something that isn't there, it's not a delusion.
And a primary example of this in a psychological study comes from the idea of called Pavlov's dog, or learned helplessness. Now, we're not dogs, we're not canines, we have a little bit more sentient consciousness than a dog. But what Pavlov found in his quest to understand learned helplessness is if you put a dog in a box and that dog tries to get out of the box and you shock the dog, then the dog will no longer try to get out of the box. And this is called learned helplessness, and it's basically a way to explain how classical conditioning, i.e. bad things happening to you when you try and do something, prevents you from trying it again and again and again. And so a lot of the dogs, what they would do is they wouldn't try and get out of the box a second time because they were already expecting a shock. And some dogs obviously manage to get out and were smarter than that. But the point I'm making is you're not a dog and you're not, a canine and you're not stuck in a box. But the metaphor is very true.
And that's just simply my life philosophy. That's the way I look at it. So first, we need to respect our nature. Second, we need to know our nature. Take Aristotle's advice, know thyself. But know things about yourself that most people don't discover. For example, know how you're smart, not just how smart you are in comparison to others. In what ways are you smart? Know what you care about. What are the values that motivate your choices? Know what your personal velocity is, the intensity and drive with which you naturally operate. Know the background imprint, positive, neutral, or negative, that you carry with you.
You have to be open-minded to the possibilities that I can do this. Once you shut your mind down to the possibility that it can be achieved, there's no way it can happen. So that's why my eyes and my body light up about things, because I know that if you're in a fight, you have to attack. You have to keep attacking.
If you believe it, if you really believe that you could be something, if you have that little voice in your head saying, hey, you got talent, you could do this, then follow that voice.
You do have power. Even if you're sitting there right now eating cheese curls on the couch, or you're feeling too lazy to get up and do anything today, or you're out there walking the dog, or maybe you're driving home from a job you hate, I don't care where you're listening to this. You have power.
There's someone who's much worse than you doing the very thing you want to do, and they're getting paid a lot of money to do it just because they believe in themselves more.
The way to get more successful on YouTube or in anything is simply to believe in yourself. And you may be going, no, that's a cliche in and of itself, but actually, hear me out on this one. It's a simple answer with a complicated explanation. Because when you start anything, not just YouTube, but when you start anything, you're alone. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have anyone that wants to support you. You're not going to have people that believe in you. You're not going to have people that want you to succeed. Because there have been people that have done that and have failed. And because they have failed, they think that no one else should be able to succeed.
There will be days that it guts you. It's true. Do not expect your life to be a cakewalk. And do not expect those changes or the ambitions that you have to be easy or to be fun. Because here's what I've learned. And I've learned this the hard way. Nothing in life that is worth doing is a walk in the park. In fact, it's the opposite.
There are 3 things that we all must do in order to believe in ourselves. Number 1, first, we need to see ourselves. I mean, really, truly, deeply see ourselves for who and what we are in order to believe in ourselves.
And this applies specifically to YouTube, but also generally to life. But in YouTube, it's even harder. Because if you think about it, there are thousands upon thousands of people that want to do exactly what you want to do. Especially when it comes to gaming. I mean, it's different for different genres, but for gaming, there are 1,000 people that can pick up a computer, play games, record themselves, and do commentary. And that's really intimidating for a lot of people. It's really intimidating, and it was for me. But then again, when I started YouTube, and a lot of you know my story, but when I started YouTube, I didn't go into it trying to become this amazing commentator.
The higher the stakes, the bigger the battle. And it's important to understand who you're up against, who you're battling. Because you want to know who you're not battling? You're not battling other actors. You're not battling other people in your company. You're not battling your friends or anyone in your industry. You are in a battle with yourself. Because here you have all these hopes and dreams and these expectations and these ambitions, and that's the future you. That's the future you that sees what's possible. And yet, every single day, you have to drag yourself out of bed.
And you know who I want to thank? I want to thank me. For believing in me and doing what they said I could not do.
Because other people have done it and have failed. And because no one had your back. That's a time when you need to trust in yourself more than anything else. Because when I started, I had nothing but time. I had a whole lot of time and no one to believe in what I was doing. So I had to believe in myself. And I had to push myself every day to get up and start working on YouTube. And you know what? It was easy for me because I knew what I was doing and I was doing it for entertainment purposes. I was doing it because I love to do it. I love to get up,
and take a new challenge, try something new, do something better than I'd done before, and improve on myself every day. But the only reason I was able to do that and get up and spring out of bed and stay up late at night and lose sleep over it was because I believed in myself.
You are rubber, they are glue, and every ignorant thing they say about you bounces off of you and sticks to them.
You got to do the work. Then you got to come home. You got to feed the dogs. You got to wash the dishes. You got to pay the bills. And some days turn out pretty amazing, don't they? But a lot of days, they just suck. Some days, you're going to be gutted. And so if you're fighting that battle right now, and you're working on making changes, or you're going after something, or you're chasing down those ambitions, and let me tell you something, you probably are, because you listen to the Mel Robbins podcast. I want you to hear this loud and clear. Expect it to suck. Expect it to be a battle. Expect days where you feel gutted at the end of the day because it is harder than you could possibly imagine.
But that unwavering dedication and unwavering belief in yourself, and even though I got tons of criticism, outrageous amounts of criticism, that kind of is, I'm still getting some of it today, but I've learned to ignore it. Just people that want to bring you down, people in the comment section saying you're stupid or you're ugly or no one likes you or no one wants to watch you. They're watching you right now. But then you get other people that start to notice what you're doing.
Number 2, we've got to think about ourselves in order to believe in ourselves.
What is self-esteem? Self-esteem is how you value and perceive yourself. And being able to thank yourself for doing the work, being able to thank yourself for believing in yourself, for doing what people said you would not be able to do, that's self-esteem.
And that's when it starts to become easier. And if you start something, and this just doesn't apply to YouTube. This is not just about YouTube. This is about anything you do. This is about school. This is about work. This is about starting your own business. This is about being your own person. You have to believe in yourself, because that fire and that passion, I read this analogy somewhere where you have this burning passion to do something. And it doesn't matter what it is so long as you believe in it. And that burning passion will start to catch fire, and the fire grows bigger and bigger until other people around you start to notice that guy's on fire.
Thirdly, we got to act like we believe in ourselves. Oh yeah, because when we believe in ourselves and act on it, we create possibilities that never would have been possible had we not just believed.
And then you got to do the hard part. You got to get up tomorrow morning and do it again. And we don't talk about this part enough, that when the work is worth doing to you, it's hard. Whether the work for you is trying to get in better shape, or maybe you're trying to get some aspect of your health under control, or you're trying to write a book, or maybe you are a working actor, or perhaps you want to go back to school and get a degree. I need you to understand, accept from the beginning, this is not going to be cakewalk. Expect a battle.
They want to find out what it's about, and they'll either be like, oh, he's going to burn himself to the ground, or they're like, holy crap, he's onto something. And you see, this small belief, this one person believing in yourself is all it takes to start snowballing down to this incredible plateau of something that you can create out of nothing. So if you have the question in your mind, how do you become successful at anything at all? You have to start by believing in yourself.
I challenge all of you to start a meaningful practice of looking in the mirror and loving what you see. Believe in what you see. If you can't love it, then respect it. And if you can't respect it, then encourage it. If you can't encourage it, empower it. And if you can't empower it, please be kind to it. I'm proud that I did something that people said I could not do because I believed in me. Believe in yourself and congratulate yourself. Sometimes you got to encourage what? Yourself. And that's why it's not called mama esteem, them esteem, us esteem. It's called self-esteem because don't nobody got to believe it but you.
I'm the only one who knows what it cost me. I'm the only one who knows what it's like to go through what I had to go through to be here in this moment. And you are the only one who knows what it's like to be you. You are the only one who knows what it's like to go through what you had to go through.
So you're unsuccessful, right? That's how you feel. You actually are successful. You just don't know it yet. But if you feel unsuccessful and you have bad habits and you're doing bad things, tell me the valid reasons behind you being in this low form. Most of it is going to revolve around being comfortable. And that's pretty much it. Because if you don't want to change in your life, it's either you're too comfortable to change, you're too scared to change, or it's too hard to change. But with unbreakable belief in self, all that can change. And you can start by just simply lying to yourself. Be delusional. Be delusional. Lie to yourself. I believe in myself. I love myself. I am successful. And keep it going. And then put the actions in behind that to fuel it. And eventually your mind's going to be like, you know what? I think I do believe in myself.
You know, it's so easy to forget that people only see what you're doing on the outside. Nobody but you knows the battle that you've been fighting on the inside. How often you feel defeated, how you struggle to believe in yourself, or the problems and the challenges that you have in your personal life, and yet when you walk out the door, you slap a smile on your face.